Patricia, and I'm going to talk a brief talk about sex ed and STIs. STIs stands for sexually transmittable infections. And I wanted to talk about this because sex is awkward, but it doesn't mean to ruin your life. Yes. Nice. Okay. So first of all, why are we talking about this? Why did I pick this subject? A very awkward subject to talk in the middle of a lot of people. A lot of grown-ups, yes. I chose this because around each day, 1 million of STIs are acquired. Each day. 1 million per year. So it's a very big number and it's an important subject. Some of the reasons why this big number of people acquire these diseases is because people treat condoms and protection in general only as a means to avoid pregnancy and unprotected sex. Unprotected anal sex is higher in the risk of gay men because it targets them and it makes them a more targeted audience because of their ways of doing things. And women that have sex with other women, they think that they don't need protection because there is no serious intercation there. And they think they don't need it, but that's a lie, of course. UNESCO has taken a stand on this, and all of my project is done based on very serious my bibliography is very serious and my references are very serious. I use the World Health Organization and I use UNESCO and I use governmental sites from every country possible. But one of the things that they have said is that too many young people are receiving confusing information about sex. And because there's a very stigma around it. And then they reach teenagehood with a misinterpretation of it and with dangerous information. They think that there is no danger but babies, and that's a lie. Everything about it is dangerous, and if you don't do it right, it might cause a catastrophe. So this is their saying on this. Let's continue. Okay, so what is the danger? Using condoms only as a means to avoid pregnancy. Quem gift with this? Algumas imagens fortes a seguir, são todos desenhos, mas se alguém não quiser. Okay, so first of all, herpes. So I'm going to talk about some diseases that you may acquire. Herpes is not lethal, it's a virus, it's a long-term condition that will last your whole life. There is no cure for herpes, and it will not kill you, but it causes painful sores and blisters that will last your whole life. After that, we have gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is lethal, it can kill you very hard. It's a bacteria, and it has a cure. But it's becoming antibiotic resistant. So one day you might not have a cure anymore. People should reach treatment right away and finish treatment after they start, because that's what's making it rapidly resistant to antibiotics. Alright. Trichomoniasis, that's a weird name. Trichomoniasis is a parasite. It's the most curable STI of all. And it can facilitate other infections. It's asymptomatic, but it can cause a mild inflammation. It's also curable, so it will not cure. It's the most curable of all. Next, and then we have chlamydia. Trichomoniasis and gonorrhea and chlamydia may all happen at the same time, and one facilitates the other. So that's a very risky thing to have. All right, so chlamydia. Chlamydia is also a bacteria. It can lead to infertility and chronic pain. That hurts. It's asymptomatic, but some bleeding and discharge may be present. Then we have syphilis. Syphilis is a bacteria. It is very lethal, and all the complications that you get with it are irreversible once you treat it. Some of the complications are blindness, paralysis, insanity, and of course death. Yes. Irreversible. One of the symptoms. This one has a lot of symptoms. You get rashes. You may get a single sore, like mouth ulcers, like aphytus, to show you, and you have loss of hair. Yes, and a general sense of discomfort. Then we have the one that is the most talked about. We have AIDS. AIDS is a virus. It's lethal combined with other diseases. So you cannot die of AIDS. You can die of a disease that killed you because your immune system was weakened by AIDS. Most of the symptoms are like of a common cold. So you don't know you have an STI until you get tested. And sometimes you have some rashes as well. Alright, taking this off, this is very ugly. Let's follow to some more light subject. So after I showed you some dangers and some ugly things that you have to protect yourself against, I'm going to give you the steps on how to protect yourself, because we like things that are ready. So I'm going to give you the recipe for not getting this problem. So how to do it right. So first of all, you need consent. It goes without saying why consent is important for every sexual relation. Besides being illegal, you may also acquire a disease and spread it to other people. So please don't do that. Awareness is important. Awareness prevents the feeling of being tricked to settle in. So for example, you need to be aware of the diseases that you may have if you have sex. You may be aware of the pregnancy that may happen before you do it. You may be aware of the age that you're doing it, because it's also important that you know what your body can handle or not. And an example of awareness is you after my presentation. You are aware of all the risks. Communication is the next step. So after you have consent and you are aware of the problems, you need to communicate about them. So consent and awareness are only possible through discussion. So you need to know what your partner knows, and you need to know, and they need to know what you know. So you can discuss and follow the best protection methods. After that, we have protection. Yes. So protection is very important because it will protect you from the other diseases. And all of these things that we taught lead you to choosing your method of protection. Condoms are the most effective one. Having it near your bed, always carrying one with you, is a major step for being prepared. Never assume you won't be having sex. So because people find it shameful, or because people find it weird or awkward, or because their parents don't allow them to, they don't carry protection with them, or they don't have it at home. And this leads to very dangerous situations of teenagers who go on and have sex without protection, and that's absurd. That's impossible. We have 1 million of STIs getting acquired every day worldwide. So it's a very serious problem that you need to protect yourself from. Alright, so testing. After protecting yourself, and if you have not protected yourself because mistakes happen, you need to get tested right away. So testing, if you are sexually active, or you are in the age of being sexually active, you need to get tested every year or so. Even if you don't think you have anything, it's important to get tested every year. Also, getting tested after you have engaged in something dangerous, like if you had sex with a stranger and you don't know the backstory of this person, you should get tested right away. Getting tested will prevent you spreading STIs, and it will allow you to start the treatment right away, which will prevent you from getting blind because of syphilis, for example. And it reduces the chances of complications. After that, we have an open mind. So, we come to the more abstract area of having sex. Open mind is important because then you will respect a sexuality that you may have and you don't know how to express, and you will be comfortable with it, comfortable enough to be protected when you do it. It won't be a surprise for you, so being open mind is important. You can only communicate and talk about this and watch my presentation without being embarrassed if you have an open mind. That's important. That it's important for me to talk about this to have an open mind. I could pick between hundreds of subjects and I choose one that is affecting a lot of people that I know. It's affecting the community that I live in. So it's a pressing matter for me to talk about. After that, activism. So after you have an open mind, after you follow everything, and after you have learned the steps about having a fulfilling sexual life, you need to do some activism. What would that be? Well, praising good representations of sex in media, speaking up against unsafe conditions for sex work, romanticizing the use of protection. For example, you can do that by having a romantic moment with your partner while you put the condom on. It's important, you cannot ignore it or treat it as awkward, because then you won't want to use it. I hear a lot of people saying that it's worse if you do it. And it's not. It's just, you're just not used to it. And you should be, because this is important for your health. Yes, you have to share whatever you listen to here. You have to share what you learned, because then you will have a fulfilling sexual experience and you will spread it to your friends too. And these are some of the examples of activism. That's basically what my project is about. Next, so this is it. And I have here some things that are worth looking into that I'm going to distribute for you. My project was based on a range of good things that I looked, good sites that I looked, and I found some things that I wanted to show you because I don't have time to do that. So first we have PlaySafe. It's a sexual health website that is targeted at young audiences. It has a Q&A service of these things, and it's an online forum. So next. Then we have a video that is a TED Talk about creating an STD-free generation. Then we have a website that allows you to communicate via an email or SMS anonymously. So you can send it to a person that you think you might have transmitted a disease, or you think they might have transmitted a disease, and you contact them anonymously to tell them to get tested and follow treatment right away. Then we have a study from UNESCO for me to explain myself. So it's why comprehensive sexuality education is important. Then we have the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada. That is a nice site with a lot of information. It's where I took the pictures from. Thank you for watching the presentation. Stay safe in your sexual adventures. Oh, we also have the steps here. So I'm going to distribute this for you while we're with something else.